We don't have any paid staff members, so everybody does this out of the goodness of their hearts. And it's amazing how we've grown from like 10 people, 10 members to nearly 500. It can fluctuate between 500 and 600 because we get temporary memberships. When the people go in the lighthouse, we offer 90-day memberships because of our insurance. This is just some of the things, and Amanda's going to talk about the deeds from the past. I find it kind of interesting because there were old deeds and now we just got a new deed from Lucas County for this organization to join the Toledo Lighthouse Society to own it. There was no record of the lighthouse being out there on most maps and things. It now exists. And we also have a submerged lands lease out there from the Department of Natural Resources, and we acquired, or we leased the lens downstairs, the Fresnel lens, in terms of being able to keep it here. It's our own lens, and it's unusual to have both the lighthouse and a lens. We got some grants along the way in the organization. These are just ones we've had. We've had $10,000 for the dock, and the restoration plans and specs cost us $102,000. We got additional grants for those. We're working on a $500,000 grant. We'll talk about that in a little bit. That has a $138,000 match. And this is just where our members come from. They come from all over the country, and so and we actually have a few. We got a few from Canada now, which makes Dan a little challenged in terms of the mailings. But this is kind of what we did in 2013. We did have the festival, of course. It was our 10th annual festival. Actually, the first festival was held because it was the 100-year anniversary of the lighthouse. It was dedicated May 23rd, 1904, and the first festival was in July of 2004. So, excuse me, that was the impetus, was to celebrate the lighthouse, and we've continued it ever since. We have programs and we have tabling. It's in various places. We're pretty active in the fall, and we do the Antique Boat Show in August, where we also have tours, and then Marblehead and Lakeside and Alpena for the Great Lakes Lighthouse Festival is also there. We're working on the history of Lighthouse, and of course we have our My Lighthouse Window campaign. We have, just for your information, how many of you are familiar with the history of the dock and the ramp? It's pretty sad history. And actually Amanda's running into some hurdles too, so I'm beginning to think the Coast Guard and the Toledo Lighthouse are struggling a bit and tugging, but you'll find more about that. We lost our first, we had a ramp up, you don't see it here, but you can see the platform, and the platform actually connected to the dock, so that when you got off the boat, you could actually walk up a ramp and get out of the deck of the lighthouse. That ramp still is located at Steve Clare's house. He's been keeping it for us, and it's in good condition. But we haven't put it back up because you have to have davits and things, and we really want to make sure that everything stays and is okay. This will be our second year where we've actually had the dock and a lift been able to take out of the water and keep it away from everything for the winter. So hopefully nothing happens. So it's been expensive to keep replacing it from time to time, and the Coast Guard, we hope they will let us know when they use it and use it properly if they need to. In 2013, we did not get in the lighthouse nearly as much as we did in 2012, and the primary reason is the winds. Ironically, the algae was really bad this year at this end of the lake, and a lot of the reason for that was there were northern winds pushing it ashore. Those northern winds were also something that we struggle with for the lighthouse, because every time you only have one access point, it's on the north side, and when you want to get in, it's tough to get in. We're attempting to locate on the other side of the lighthouse where the solar panels are. You've seen where those are at. We're attempting, or we're planning on putting another access point there. So if the wind's out of the north, we'll be able to get in the south side and vice versa. It won't work for a northeastern, but it should work in most conditions. So it would increase our chances of getting into the lighthouse and allowing people to tour it. I think between 80 to 90% of the time we'd be able to get in. Now we're at 40 or 50, and in 2013 it was even lower than that. This was our festival this year. If you haven't, everybody been to the festival? The amphitheater is really nice when we open it up and we have the entertainment. We have an arts and crafts village and a lot of nice things. We're working with some sandcastle people, and we may have sandcastle contests this year and get some sponsors for that. That might be kind of fun to have another venue at the festival to bring more people and have more fun. Every year we do an annual Christmas card, and Mary Seeger, you want to stand up? Thank you. Mary is the artist for this year's card. Thank you very much. We have 9 of them now. We've been doing it for 9 years, and each of these will be framed and put in the lighthouse. We select a different artist every year, and they make a card, and we're very appreciative to them for their services. We want to thank Amanda Wetzel. This is not Amanda. You're going to see that in a few minutes. This is her supervisor or professor in her department. And so she's doing the history, and you're going to be it's a very interesting conversation that she's going to have with you about what she's been finding that's been quite challenging, unfortunately. So it would be nice if it was just she could go. She went to DC to look up our records and to find our logs, and she'll tell you what happened. The restoration plans are $1.5 million is the total amount needed. We're always looking for people to give us ideas to increase finances or to get grants or to do what they can. So if you have any ideas, please let us know. We would like to follow through with them. We did the plans and specs as I shared with you before, and the different phases are about $500,000 a phase, give or take in some money. So the phase 1 is the windows, doors, shutters, tucking the brick, those sorts of things. Phase 2 is the infrastructure, the electric, the wiring, the plumbing, the water, the wastewater, and all that goes with it. And the third is the fun part, is when you get to finish it and furnish it and put it to a place where we can all stay out there and have some fun. We will not have potable water out there, just for your information, and the sewage system will be a marine sewage system. And there will be no electric from the shore. It will all be solar powered, backed up with a propane or a gas generator. And the finishing, as I said, we'll take it back to about the period of 1926 is what we're looking at. We have a grant for $500,000 from the Transportation Enhancement Program that Lucas County helped us get. Unfortunately, it's not been programmed, and so we are struggling to get it in a year. We were hoping it would be programmed in 14 and 15. That has not happened. And we're doing some things to change that that hopefully we'll be able to share with you in the next few months. The window campaign has gone well. We have over $50,000 of the $138,000 we need. And the second floor is about sold out. In fact, is it sold out, Dan?
Second floor.
Second floor is sold out, and the tower, the first floor of the tower.
Yeah, the portholes in the tower are sold out.
They're sold out as well? Okay. So some of the floors, depending on what you're interested in, if you're interested in a window, we have a 5-year payment plan if you like. You pay $25 extra for doing that, but you can pay for it over time. The windows range from $750 to $2,500. There's a nice plastic piece that goes in each window, and you can have your name on it, and you can have a saying on it for what's there. And this is just, a few people have asked in the last couple of months, and this is a concept that we have. There's a problem out in the lake with the Toledo Shipping Channel, and the fact of the matter is that they now dredge out here. It's the most dredged area in the Great Lakes because the bay out here's average depth is only 5 feet, and they have to go to 28 feet. So there's about 1 million cubic yards that are dredged every year, and they used to put it in a confined area, but since it's no longer contaminated, now they throw it in the open lake. And it's resuspending nutrients, which is helping the algae problem and creating some issues. So we have suggested and worked with other groups, and there's quite a bit of support for this. Unfortunately, the cost of it's quite high, is to put like we call a habitat or an eco island next to the lighthouse, which would give us a safe harbor. And we would like them to reuse the dredge materials there. It would not be something that would be party island. It would rather be something that would be done for the fish and for spawning in a natural area if we're able to get the project going. But it was in the paper a while back, and people asked if we're pursuing that, and certainly we are to the extent we're able, and encouraging people to help to do a pilot project to make this thing happen. Looking at 2014, we'll have our 11th annual festival. That's quite a feat, I think. Of course, we'll have our Christmas gathering again here next year, and the window campaign goes on. What we are looking at, because some of us are frustrated that we haven't been able to start the restoration and see some progress. So the board met a week or two ago, and what we're going to look at is doing some windows on the first floor. I think I got some pictures. Oops. And the windows here, you can see on the right-hand side where it says first floor, there's concrete block, and some of them have been punched out from time to time. They're loose. Also, if you've been in the lighthouse, you'll know that it's very dark on the first floor. You have to have lanterns. You can hardly see the first floor very well when you go in there. So by opening it up and putting in windows and some shutters, it would start the process. And we're hoping that if people see the progress, that it will help us to get additional funding as well. So the architect is looking as to how many windows we can do for what amount. We're looking at the resources we have, and we'll be sharing that with you soon. But we're hoping to do some project in 2014, if at all possible. If not, definitely 2015. And also looking at putting in the other dock on the other side, because that will increase the ability for all of us to get people in. It was really disappointing when the people came from the West Coast this summer and wanted to go in, and the captain of the boat said no, it was too dangerous, and we couldn't. They were from all over the country, and they spent a lot of money with us. They actually bought a lot of merchandise and were really great people, and they were disappointed because they couldn't go in. They got on a boat, they got to go around it, but they didn't get to go in. And they could have gone in had we had another access point. So that's kind of the wrap up for this year. We're always happy to answer questions. The people's names are on the website. You're welcome to email us, call us, or whatever. And we want to keep the dialogue up. All ideas are good ideas. We really want to share and make this the best we can make it. So if you have suggestions, we're always happy to have them. We meet at the end of the month, the last Thursday of the month here, every month except for November and December. And so at 7 o'clock, you're always welcome. Meetings are open. Are there any questions? Okay, I'm a few minutes over, so I'm sorry. But Ted Lickadell, I don't know when we met, a while back. 30 of you. We met a long time ago. And he came to the festival, a couple years ago, I think it was. And he came to our tent. You did get in this year, right?
Yeah.
So that was good. Finally, he came 2 or 3 times, and every time he'd come, he picked the wrong day, and he wasn't able to go in, and he was disappointed. But Ted has a great program at Eastern Michigan University on neighborhoods and historic structures. It's nationally recognized. He's a great guy, and I said to him, when are you going to help us with our lighthouse? And he said, I know. And so that fall, he got a grad student. He said he put together and get an intern. And we are very fortunate. Amanda Wetzel is a dream person to work with. And she is very enthusiastic about our lighthouse. And Ted's going to introduce her, and she'll share